Yo, welcome to Trippy Commentaries and the Week in Wrestling. We have a lot to break down because we're preparing for the 2015 Royal Rumble. We're extremely excited here at the channel, and there was a lot of pretty epic matches this week made by Hulk Hogan himself, or should I say Ho Hogan. Hogan dressed up like Santa Claus. I'm RJ, joined up by Retro Brett.
I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays in general. I know all of us here at Trippy Comms had a good holiday, good Christmas, and hope you all did as well. But let's jump right into it, RJ.
Let's do it, Brett. We definitely have a lot to get into, including John Cena versus Seth Rollins. As I said, there were a lot of really good matches this week. Hulk Hogan started off Raw, made some good matches, including Roman Reigns versus Big Show. We'll get into that as well. But let's start off with John Cena versus Rollins. This was a great match. Unfortunately, J&J Security got in there a little bit.
Did we expect anything else?
That's true. I gotta say, Retro Brett, John Cena looked like a complete beast. I really thought that they are trying to make him look extremely powerful heading into this match with Brock Lesnar after defeating really not only Seth Rollins, but the security boys there as well. He knocked them all out. He hit Rollins with the AA and won a very impressive win for John Cena.
Well, John Cena is a beast. No matter who he faces, he's the top guy in WWE.
Yeah.
He has been for quite some time, many years now. And, I'm liking this feud with Rollins. It's definitely building Cena up, maybe giving him a little practice for Lesnar, because let's face it, he's going to need all the practice he can get to face the Beast incarnate for the third time. And I think they're doing a great job, and I think he's going to be ready, more ready than he was the second time.
I agree. I'm definitely predicting John Cena to win this match coming up with Brock Lesnar, which is pretty crazy considering how the matches have looked in the past. We'll definitely talk about that more, but I think one of the main reasons why I think Cena's going to win is because of this match we saw with Seth Rollins. The whole match they were talking about how Seth Rollins is one of the most impressive things going in the WWE, and John Cena impressed me even more than that. It was just saying a lot. We had the debut of the Ascension here, Retro Brett, at least kind of the teaser to them. We know that they will be coming, it appears, in 2015. They've been pretty impressive in NXT. I know you haven't seen a ton from them. What do you think about our little teaser to what's to come?
Well, I think it's definitely that. It's a teaser, and since the very first time I saw them, I thought they could very well be the sons of the Road Warriors.
Yes. I think they're going to do really well and probably win the tag team championship sooner than later.
At some point.
I mean, there's not a whole lot going on in the tag team division right now except for the Usos. I kind of like Stardust and Goldust, but Goldust is only going to be able to go for so much longer.
Well, I think that the Ascension might be a true tag team, whereas some of the tag teams these days are just people, good single wrestlers just thrown together as a team.
Mm-hmm.
That sometimes works, but it's never as good as a true team, like Edge and Christian and Hardy Boys, the Usos.
Yeah.
Because Miz and Mizdow, they're just two people that are thrown together.
Yeah, they're a bit of a gimmick, a hilarious one, but
yeah,
definitely a gimmick. I definitely am looking forward to these guys right here.
Yeah.
I recommend that you check out NXT. There's a lot going on there right now, and the Ascension certainly are ascending out of the NXT into the Big Show, the WWE. Not the Big Show himself.
Yeah.
We'll talk about him facing off with Roman Reigns. But first, we had a rematch here, Retro Brett. Bray Wyatt took on Dean Ambrose yet again. Unbelievable match. We saw chairs involved. Of course, the ladder. And a lot to talk about, but one thing that really impressed me was Bray Wyatt launching a chair at Bray Wyatt, who was on top of the ladder. He fell down eventually. kind of throwing him into the corner there, pinning him for the win. So Bray Wyatt got the victory. The great thing about this match and the matches between these guys that we've seen in the past is even after someone claims the victory, a lot of times it still keeps going. In this case, Dean Ambrose got revenge by spraying Bray Wyatt in the eye with the fire extinguisher.
Oh, that was pretty cool.
And end up kind of taking, being on top despite taking the loss. I thought that was an awesome match. And with the antics we saw afterwards, it's pretty obvious that this is not the last we'll see of the feud.
Well, with these weird psycho guys,
The freaks.
the match itself often isn't the best part of the confrontation. And a win or a loss in the match itself often doesn't mean much to these guys because they fight after the match.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, it kind of disappoints me that all these matches they're having together. I mean, I can deal with, like, I would say 3 matches per feud is a good number. Because 3 is if one wins one, the other wins one, it's a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
But, I mean, these guys are having a lot of matches together, and it's, to me, that it's just too much.
The only good thing about that for me is that they are both getting kind of a split amount of wins. It's not really a lopsided affair.
Mm-hmm.
So in that case, I think that, I'm still excited to see many more matches. But there's going to have to be some kind of big payoff coming. Neither have a title in their hands, so maybe that will be involved somehow if they can get that. Or maybe even some kind of match that knocks one of them out for a long time. They're huge rising stars, and to me, this is the biggest rivalry going.
Yes, but you can take a rivalry too far.
Yeah, that's for sure. We've seen that in the past. Now, of course, with Bray Wyatt winning and then Dean Ambrose getting the hit afterwards, do you have anybody who's kind of on top at this moment, or do you think it's a tie?
I like Ambrose better than Wyatt, but because I like good guys. I like nice people.
Yeah, Bray Wyatt is not nice. Let's go ahead and talk about it, Retro Brett. Roman Reigns versus The Big Show. This is probably not the last we'll see of these guys as well, because Roman Reigns looked incredibly impressive. These guys worked really well together, that's for sure. But Reigns ended up winning via countout. He kind of hit The Big Show outside of the ring, was able to sneak in before 10 seconds, or it's probably not seconds. Yeah,
it's the count of 10.
Sometimes it lasts 30 seconds, I feel like.
Depending on the referee.
Yeah. And Roman Reigns wins, although not really a super legit victory here.
No, a countout is never considered a real victory, or not considered by me or RJ as a loss to the superstar being counted out.
Yeah.
Not really, but I feel that this is a good rivalry coming forward, and I think this rivalry will be big at the Royal Rumble. Maybe the last 2 guys in the Rumble match. Maybe. Yeah,
I definitely want to ask you what you think about that, because there's a lot of people that are capable of winning the Royal Rumble. One of these guys right here, Dolph Ziggler. I mean, he's got a ton of momentum right now. Maybe he deserves to be in a WrestleMania main event. But I think this guy right here is the one a lot of us are looking at, Roman Reigns. And of course, he defeated The Big Show. Let's go ahead and move on to SmackDown. RB, Adam Rose versus R-Truth. Now, R-Truth claimed a victory earlier, but in this matchup on SmackDown, Adam Rose took the victory himself. And in an interview afterwards with Sexy Renee Young, Adam Rose said that this will be a new version of Adam Rose. Maybe no more bunny, maybe a little bit more of a heel role here. What do you think? I know you haven't been his biggest supporter in the past.
Well, I think that anything is better than that stupid gimmick he's been doing. He's not going anywhere as long as he's doing the party train or whatever the hell he's doing. Yeah. Party bus.
The Exotic Express.
Exotic Express, yes, thank you. But as for the bunny, I don't think that's in his past. I think the bunny's gonna come back and they're gonna have a feud, which would be pretty decent, pretty funny. And by the way, he kicked the shit out of the bunny on Raw.
Yeah, that's why I think that's probably Dungada. We're starting to see.
I disagree.
I mean, he even in the interview with Renee, he still kind of seemed like he had some love for the bunny, but it's nonetheless a new Adam Rose. We'll see what it means in 2015.
Yes, we will.
We have Rusev interrupting a match between Ryback and Kane, but Ryback was able to overcome it. We know that Ryback and Rusev is definitely another rivalry that's kicking up. Uh, Ryback hit the impressive shell shock maneuver on Kane, but then proceeded to get chokeslammed twice and even put in the accolade. He got destroyed as Ryback and Kane kind of teamed up to take him out. What do you think about what happened and moving forward between Ryback and Rusev?
Well, obviously, I think Ryback Kane is a good rivalry, but that Kane not being really relevant these days.
I still think he's underrated, but yeah.
Might not be. He'd do well to go back to his suit or his red black suit and his mask, but
Yeah.
whatever.
The Demon Kane version.
But I think Rusev has his work cut out for him with Ryback. That will be a tough match to call. I can't wait to see it in person, the real match. So.
Well, speaking of Rusev, I mean, he also faced off with Dean Ambrose that same night.
Yes, he did.
And this was crazy because I thought, like, damn, we might see Rusev's undefeated streak finally fall. This was the first guy where it was like, code blue here, Rusev. Dean Ambrose, this is a crazy mofo. He can beat you.
He's a lot smaller than Rusev, but he's very, very unpredictable.
He is, and let's face it, Ambrose is so impressive, and just everybody loves him. He's one of the biggest.
Oh, I don't know about that.
He's got a huge fan base, Retro Brett. I mean, trust me, I read the comments and I'm looking at the forums, and Dean Ambrose is getting a lot of love by the WWE Universe. So they might have wanted to give him the U.S. title right then and there, not only getting the title, but taking out Rusev, finishing the undefeated streak. That didn't happen. Why? Because Bray Wyatt showed up out of nowhere to disqualify Dean Ambrose or whatever, basically knock him out, make him lose, and Rusev remains undefeated. Bray Wyatt versus Dean Ambrose continues to grow, as we said.
It's Rusev's first defeat is not going to happen on anything but a pay-per-view.
Really?
It's not going to happen on SmackDown. It's not going to happen on Raw. It's going to happen on a big pay-per-view. Mania, SummerSlam.
Well, we know the guy who's in Rusev's sights next, and that's Ryback. So will it be him to do it?
No, I think Rusev is in Ryback's sights, not the other way around.
Yeah, I understand. We'll see, though, because I still am looking forward to that rivalry.
Of course.
When they get in the ring together and have a match, that could be when Rusev finally gets defeated for the first time officially.
And that will catapult Ryback majorly, big time.
And what do you think about Ryback getting devastated today? Like I said, 2 choke slams and the accolade. Do you think he'll be able to bounce back?
Oh, of course.
I mean, he was face
He's
down.
He's a human wrecking ball. He can bounce back.
Man, I'm starting to love Ryback here. Let's go ahead and talk about this main event from SmackDown Retro Brett. It was Roman Reigns and Dolph Ziggler versus Big Show and Seth Rollins. These guys got into it at the beginning of SmackDown with Hulk Hogan showing up again. It was pretty interesting. I mean, Big Show straight up said he was going to knock out Hulk Hogan. I don't know if that would have went too well. Roman Reigns showed up. It was awesome. Leading up to this match, J&J Security got involved. We should expect that because Seth Rollins was involved in the match. But eventually Reigns speared Rollins, perhaps getting revenge for the Shield aftermath there.
I think that's far from revenge.
Yeah, you're probably right about that, but nonetheless, Reigns gets the victory. He is a complete beast right now. He showed some new moves off in this match, RB.
About time.
And I really feel like he's building some much-needed momentum after that injury kept him out for a while.
Those new moves are great. I'm glad to see him because although RJ really, really likes Reigns, I feel he was a little stale. And, you could definitely say that about Cena, so before anyone dogs me. Cena pretty much does the same thing every match, but Yeah, Rollins had the same moves, and I'm glad to see that he has a couple new ones.
Yeah, Rollins was very impressive in this match. Dolph Ziggler also some really good moves that he showed off until
Dolph
Roman
Ziggler
Reigns came in and took over.
is the future of WWE. They're finally
And
pushing him.
Rollins.
Rollins,
Rollins is the man.
they're pushing him, and I was a fan of his when he was with the Shield, but I don't like him as much as Ambrose or Ziggler. I think Ziggler is really the man going forward.
I guess we'll see. I kind of disagree. I think Rollins has showed off some very impressive moves. I mean, when he loses, he looks like he gets destroyed, which reminds me a lot of Dolph Ziggler. So it's funny we're kind of comparing those guys. They're both not going anywhere. Let's be honest.
This is true.
and neither
well
is
they should.
Roman Reigns. So pretty cool matches this week. We definitely enjoyed those. I want to give a special shout out to the NXT Retro Brett. We're seeing an awesome storyline right now with Kevin Owens. It was Adrian Neville holding on to the championship for a while. Sami Zayn was able to take him out. They're good buddies. They were tag team partners. Eventually, Sami Zayn wanted to take it himself.
Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant.
Yes, great call, our Retro Brett. But right after the match, Kevin Owens came out, big motherfucker, and he wears a shirt that says KO, and very fitting because he knocked out Sami Zayn immediately. He did like a powerbomb maneuver onto the side, like the edge of the ring, put Sami Zayn in the stretcher after he just won the NXT championship. He later did the same thing to Adrian Neville, so Kevin Owens is on the rise. I think that he's going to take over NXT and eventually find himself in the WWE. He's got a little bit of Kevin Nash in him, and man, he's got some power.
Some say that NXT is actually more entertaining than the big time Raw and SmackDown.
They have some excellent storylines there. The actual moves they pull off are unbelievable. If you guys haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it. Last thing we got to talk about here, Retro Brett, is the Royal Rumble upcoming. What do you think here? I mean, we have the big showdown between Brock Lesnar and John Cena. I'm very much looking forward to that. That's going to be like Holyfield versus Tyson caliber for those of you who are into boxing. I mean, I really look forward to the big boxing matches, and that's what this reminds me of. Not to mention, we have a big Royal Rumble match as well. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking it's going to be as epic as ever. It's kind of early to tell because it's still a couple of weeks away, I believe. I think it's around the 20th. I'm not quite sure about that.
Yeah, sometime in January, towards the end there.
Yeah, so we still have a good time before it comes, and it needs to take a little bit more shape. Obviously, it will because it really hasn't done anything yet. But we cannot wait for it. But another thing I wanted to touch on, I just forgot about when we were talking about Wyatt and Ambrose.
Mm-hmm.
But some people, I read something online a while back about how supernatural and like crazy characters are not good to be pitted and to fight each other. I
agree.
Completely disagree.
Yeah.
That's my most favorite kind of match and my most favorite kind of rivalry because it's so unpredictable. I mean, you got that is great for wrestling right now. You got Wyatt, which is cerebral. He's cult-like. You got Ambrose, who's just a lunatic. And I think that's the best thing going right now. Even better than Cena Rollins, Cena Orton. Speaking of Orton, when is he coming back?
Yeah. Well, my thoughts on that, Retro Brett, not Orton. There's a lot of guys we're missing. Bad News Barrett should be coming back soon. Sheamus, Cesaro, a lot of guys were wondering where the hell they are. But my thoughts on that is most of the time you cannot have crazy versus crazy. It's very hard to pull off. And most of the time it's kind of better to have the crazy guy versus the normal guy that we can all relate to. But that is not the case if you have two superstars that are unbelievable. Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt, as I said many times before, is the best thing going. And these guys, even though it's crazy versus crazy, two guys that are hard to relate to, they're so freaking good that it's becoming an amazing rivalry. I've been actually watching a lot of interviews with Bray Wyatt. I'm fascinated with the guy, and he is super, like, he's into his craft. He has done a ton of research on the biggest cult leaders in the past. He didn't divulge who those were, but I'm thinking maybe someone like Charles Manson, that he does a ton of research.
David
And
Corlash.
he's emulating these guys' character in a wrestling format, so he's not doing anything truly evil.
You're right.
So he's allowed to pull off these characters, much like a great movie like Pulp Fiction, stuff like that, where you have these amazing characters. That's what we're seeing in the WWE, thanks to a guy like Bray Wyatt, and in my opinion, thanks to a guy like Dean Ambrose, and they face off.
They are like supernatural, different kind of characters than normal characters.
Mm-hmm.
In a different way, though. Like I said, Wyatt's on one hand and Ambrose is on the other.
Mm-hmm.
You got Wyatt being cult-like, like I said, and cerebral, and just weird, and Ambrose is just wild and he's unpredictable.
Yeah, I agree, man.
They're both platinum, diamond on the mic. Especially Wyatt. Wyatt is, he comes up with some off-the-wall, batshit crazy stuff.
That's for sure. So, one last thing to end off with. We have, like I said, the missing wrestlers. The one guy that I'm wondering where he is most. No, Daniel Bryan. I'm expecting an epic comeback from him eventually. We've seen him a couple times in different, on the mic positions. Hopefully that means the fact that we've seen him recently, hopefully we'll actually get him back as a fighter.
Well, what I don't understand, I can understand they keep some guys out because they don't have a storyline for them. But BNB had a separated shoulder back in June, July. That's not very serious. That shouldn't take this long to heal.
Hopefully we get him back. Talk about great on the mic. Thanks for joining us, guys. We appreciate you joining up for This Week in Wrestling here at Trippy Commentaries. Stay tuned to our wrestling coverage. But more importantly, stay trippy, my friends. I'm RJ for Retro Brett. Peace out, guys. Have a great new year, and we'll see you in 2015.